CreepyCorner stories.
Hey everyone, welcome back to CreepyCorner stories. You know, diving into the dark web is always risky, but sharing these stories with you makes it worth it. I'm curious, where are you watching this from right now? Let me know in the comments below. I've noticed that these kinds of stories hit differently depending on where you are. It might even make the experience a little creepier. So, tell me, are you watching from the safety of your home or somewhere less secure? I got a dark web mod that shows your S-lines on people. Mine connects to a stranger in every crowd. I don't know who they are. Okay, so before I say anything else, I want to make it very clear that I'm not some tech genius or some hacker who's lurking on forums all day. I'm just a regular guy. Early 20s. I watch TikTok. I hit the gym sometimes. And I doom scroll YouTube shorts like it's my full-time job. I work at a Target in Tampa, Florida, and I live in a pretty average one-bedroom apartment with my cat Milo. So when I say what I'm about to say, please understand, I didn't go looking for this. It just happened, and now I can't stop seeing them. I guess it all started about 3 weeks ago. I was watching this video on YouTube, one of those weird tech you shouldn't download type deals. Kinda like those iceberg videos, but more like cursed apps, urban legend type stuff. One of the entries was titled, S-Lines, See the Truth. The clip was short, just some grainy footage of what looked like someone walking through a crowded train station. On the screen, each person had a glowing red or blue line coming from their chest. One of the people, some older dude in a beige coat, had a line that split and connected to a little girl standing by the vending machines. The line glowed violently. Then the footage glitched. That was it. No explanation. But the thing is, I remember that train station. It was Shinjuku, in Tokyo. I'd been there during a trip to Japan 2 years ago, and I remembered that exact vending machine. It was weird, right? Like personal. So I looked into it, and that's when I found the Reddit post. It had been deleted, but someone reposted it on r/deep web files. Just a throwaway user who said they got the mod from a Telegram group linked through a darkweb.onion page. The post said something like, once installed, the S-Lines mod activates through your front camera. You'll see lines connecting people. One of them connects to a person only you can see. If your S-line turns black, stop using the mod immediately. Now, again, I'm not the kind of guy to go poking around the dark web, but curiosity is a disease, and that video burned into my brain like it was meant for me. So I found the link. I used a burner laptop. I ran a VPN. I followed all the paranoid advice from How to Hack and Reddit's dumber cousins. And yeah, I found it. The download wasn't flashy, just a file called slv2bcamport.apk, Android only. I transferred it to my phone and installed it. It looked like a camera filter at first, just a basic camera view with some grainy overlay. The UI was super minimal, just a toggle at the top that said, Show S-Lines on. I went to my local Starbucks and tested it out, just for laughs. And that's when I noticed it. The lines. They weren't bright at first, kind of translucent, almost like colored steam coming off people. Red lines hovered between two people at a table. Blue ones curled between a guy on his laptop and a barista. I even saw a greenish yellow one between a woman and the little boy she was with. I assumed those meant something, family, lovers, whatever. But then I saw mine. It was faint, grayish at first, coming out from just under my collarbone. I turned my camera around, moved my phone slowly. The line stretched across the room, but it didn't connect to anyone. It just hung there, slightly vibrating, like it wanted to attach to someone, but couldn't. I should have uninstalled it right then, but I didn't. I became obsessed. Every day, I went somewhere new. McDonald's, the beach, the Tampa River Walk, even the damn DMV. My S-line was always there, but never connected to anyone. Always hovering, always waiting, until last Thursday. I was at International Plaza, huge shopping mall, if you've ever been. I'd just gotten some Panda Express, sat down in the food court, turned the mod on like usual, and then I saw them. It was a man, probably mid-30s, completely normal looking, grey hoodie, worn out jeans, sitting across the food court from me, holding a half-eaten Chick-fil-A sandwich. Nothing creepy. But the moment he looked up from his tray, my S-line locked on. It snapped from the air and connected right to the center of his chest. Solid black, like tar. I didn't know what to do. I froze. He didn't say anything. He didn't even smile. He just looked at me and then tilted his head to the left like he was studying a weird bug. That was it. Then he got up and walked away. I ripped out my earbuds and followed him. I know. Dumb. But I was panicking. My heart was racing. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped my phone. I kept that camera app open the whole time, and the S-line never broke. It stayed solid as stone, even as he got in the elevator, even as I followed him through the Nordstrom exit and into the parking garage. But here's where it gets worse. He didn't go to a car. He just walked into the far corner of the garage, behind a support pillar, and stood there. I kept my distance, probably 30 feet away, still filming. The S-line was pulsing now, like it was alive, like it was feeding off something. I crept a little closer, and then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Turn around. I thought it was a prank. I almost laughed, until I heard my name spoken out loud behind me. Jacob. I turned so fast, I almost fell over, but there was no one there. Just rows of parked cars. No footsteps, no voices, no shadows. Just my phone, glitching like crazy. And the line? It had split. The S-line was now connected to the man and something behind me. Something the camera refused to show. The screen glitched out, turned red for a second, and then showed an error. Unregistered connection detected. Disconnect or proceed. That was 3 days ago. Now, every time I go out, there's someone else who connects to my S-line. Not always the same person. Sometimes it's a little girl at a Walgreens. Sometimes it's a man in a suit, just standing outside my apartment. Sometimes it's a random woman who follows me through a Target, like she's trying to remember where she knows me from. But they always look at me, and the S-line never fades. I've tried uninstalling the mod, wiping my phone, factory reset. Nothing works. And last night, when I turned on the app one last time, the line wasn't black anymore. It was red, and it was coming from inside my apartment. The moment I saw the red line coming from inside my apartment, I swear to God, it felt like my brain just shut down. My whole body went cold, like I'd stepped out of myself and was just watching. You know that feeling when you're half asleep and you think you hear someone whisper your name, but there's no one there? Yeah, imagine that, but with the full force of your fight or flight system screaming run, and your legs completely refusing to move. I don't live with anyone. I've never lived with anyone. So who the hell was the line connected to? I was standing in my bedroom. It was 3:14 in the morning. My cat, Milo, had been scratching at the door of the hallway closet for like an hour before I finally got up. Thought maybe he trapped a lizard in there or something. Florida's full of them. But when I opened the closet, it was empty. I'm talking totally clean, except for a folded shirt that wasn't mine. I've never bought anything mustard yellow in my life, and there it was, folded perfectly like a hotel towel, resting on the top shelf. No dust on it, just sitting there like it had been placed down a few hours earlier. And I should have left the apartment right then. I should have grabbed Milo and walked out the door barefoot. But no, like a complete idiot, I pulled my phone out, opened the S-Lines mod, and turned it on. I pointed it at the closet. The red line went straight in. It didn't curve, didn't float, didn't hesitate. It dove directly into the wall behind the shelf, like there was something behind the drywall that I couldn't see. But the phone could. It vibrated. Once, then twice. Then it just froze. And I swear on everything, I heard a whisper. It didn't come from the phone. It came from inside the wall. I couldn't make out what it said, but it was soft, like a breath. Just one long syllable, like someone was exhaling my name, but couldn't get it all out. I backed out of the room so fast, I hit my knee on the dresser and dropped my phone. The screen cracked. It didn't go black or glitch. It just kept filming, aimed at the open closet, with that red line pulsing like a heartbeat. I grabbed Milo and locked myself in the bathroom. I sat in that tub for 2 hours with a steak knife and a flashlight, just trying to breathe. And then I checked the camera roll. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely unlock the phone. There was a new video, not one I recorded. It was time-stamped at 3:23 a.m. The footage was from the front camera, facing me, except I hadn't touched the phone since I dropped it, and I sure as hell didn't point it at my face. The video was 11 seconds long. It starts dark. Then the light flicks on. Bathroom lighting. My bathroom. The camera slowly raises to eye level. It's someone standing over me, filming my sleeping body in the tub. Milo is next to me, frozen, ears twitching. I never moved. I don't even remember sleeping. At the 7-second mark, the camera tilts, and you see something behind me, in the mirror. It's blurry, like it wants to be seen, but can't fully manifest through glass. A figure, tall, pale, face like wet paper soaked in oil. No eyes, just black pits that drooped down to its jawline, sagging like they were melting off. One hand rested on my shoulder in the reflection, but when you look at me in the footage, there's nothing there. At the end of the video, the camera shakes violently, drops to the floor, and cuts off. I never heard a sound, never woke up, never saw the door open, and then I noticed something way worse. The red S-line was now going through my chest, not from it, into it. The next morning, I did what most dumb people do in horror movies. I tried to go on with my day like nothing happened. I mean, what else do you do when your phone app is showing you invisible connections to nightmarish strangers? I went to work. I stocked shelves. I smiled at customers who definitely didn't care I existed. But every time I opened the S-Lines app, the red connection was still there, still inside me, like a parasite I couldn't dig out. And worse, it wasn't just one line anymore. There were two. The second one formed at around 1:35 p.m. right as I was walking through the electronics section. It curled up and split toward an older woman standing near the Funko Pops. She was holding a Pikachu and talking on speakerphone, loudly. But the second the line touched her chest, she dropped the toy, hard. Her phone slipped from her hand and hit the floor. She froze. Then slowly, her head turned, and she looked right at me. Her eyes went wide, like she recognized me, like we had unfinished business, but I had never seen her before in my life. And then she smiled. That smile is burned into me. It wasn't happy. It wasn't even evil. It was empty, like she was just mimicking what a person was supposed to do when they saw a familiar face, like a puppet trying to pass for human. She took 2 steps forward, then collapsed. Ambulance came. They said it was a stroke, but the store cameras, they never showed me walking past her. According to security, I was in the back unloading boxes. I wasn't. I saw her fall. I heard the phone hit the ground. I felt the line pull. I didn't go back to work after that. That night, the S-Lines app updated itself. I didn't download anything, didn't accept any permissions, but it changed. The camera now had a night mode button. I tapped it by accident around 2 a.m. while pacing my living room with all the lights off. Everything went black. Then, white outlines began to form, like heat signatures, but wrong. The shapes were too tall, too bent, limbs that curved the wrong way, faces that were smudges instead of features. And my apartment? It was full of them. They stood in the corners, above the fridge, inside the hallway walls. Some crouched, some hung from the ceiling, like shadows taped to reality. All of them had one thing in common. They were connected to me by red, black-veined lines. I dropped the phone, again, ran outside, didn't lock the door, didn't grab my shoes, just bolted down the street with Milo shoved in my hoodie. I ended up at a 24-hour Waffle House near Ybor, and I swear, for like 10 minutes, everything felt normal. I sat in the corner booth, ordered coffee, tried to calm down. I opened the app out of habit and nearly threw up all over the menu. There were S-lines everywhere. One was connected to the waitress, one to a man in a business suit eating hash browns with his bare hands. One wrapped around a baby's entire body in the booth across from me. But mine stretched across the restaurant and into the kitchen freezer. I got up to leave. The second I stood, the line jerked me back. No joke. Like I had a rope tied to my heart. I felt it, like an invisible leash yanking at my insides. I dropped my phone and fell to my knees. And then, the freezer door opened, steam poured out, and something, stepped through. Tall, wrong, like a taxidermied person rearranged by someone who'd only heard what a human was supposed to look like. The arms were too short. The legs moved like they had joints in the sides. Its head twitched left and right, like it was listening for a sound it couldn't quite hear. It pointed at me, and every person in that Waffle House froze. Nobody screamed, nobody ran. They all just turned to look at me. Their eyes went white, no pupils, all at once, and then they smiled. I don't remember getting out. I don't remember running, but I woke up in my bathtub again. This time, there was blood under my nails. Not mine. Milo won't come near me anymore. I don't know how many people I'm connected to now. I've counted 13 lines so far. Some go across the street. Some dive into sewers. Some point at the sky. One went into a bus full of children on a field trip. Another ended in the trunk of a parked black Toyota Camry. I haven't opened that trunk. Yet. But the last time I tried to delete the app, it sent a notification to my lock screen. S-lines are permanent. Connection pending. Acceptance not required. My red line is glowing now. And last night, I watched a video that wasn't on my phone before. It was a screen recording of me walking into someone else's house at 4:12 a.m., smiling, holding a phone, with the camera still recording. But I need to warn you, I haven't told you what the black lines actually mean yet. Have you ever looked someone in the face and felt them thinking something evil about you without them saying a word? I'm not talking about awkward stares or weird vibes at Walmart. I'm talking about a presence that makes your vision tunnel, like your body's trying to block out what's in front of you, so your soul can live a few more seconds. That's what the black line people feel like. And now, they're everywhere. I haven't slept in almost 3 days. Every time I close my eyes, I hear scraping. Not footsteps, not whispering. Just this slow, dry scraping sound, like fingernails dragging across a tile floor. My fingernails are gone now, by the way. Chewed down. Nervous habit. At least I think I chewed them. Sometimes I wake up with blood on my teeth and can't remember how. The red lines keep growing, like veins branching across my life, into places I haven't been, into people I haven't met. But the black lines, they're intentional, precise. Every person I see with a black line connected to them is watching me, not following, not stalking, watching, like they're waiting for something only I can do. Let me tell you what happened 2 nights ago. I was at the public library because my internet mysteriously shut off and my phone wouldn't connect to data unless I turned the mod on. Yeah, that's a thing now. The S-Lines app refuses to uninstall and actually blocks Wi-Fi and mobile data if I try. Anyway, I was using one of the ancient Dell desktops in the back row, trying to email my cousin Mark. I figured he might know someone to help. He's ex-Air Force, now runs a security company out in Arizona. The screen froze mid-sentence. Then it glitched, like old-school VHS static, and something loaded without me touching the mouse. A website, plain black background, white serif text. It read, "You are not the first. You will not be the last. We are already inside. Would you like to see the others?" 2 buttons, yes or yes, no way out, no X, no minimize. I clicked the left one. The screen faded to what looked like CCTV footage. 10 windows, all playing at once, each from a different location. And every feed had a person standing completely still in front of the camera. One in a forest, one in a subway station, one in what looked like a Chuck E. Cheese ball pit, but empty, abandoned. They weren't doing anything, just staring at the lens, except their eyes weren't human. Every one of them had milky white irises, not glowing, not demonic, just flat, like candle wax melted in their sockets, blank, hollow, not even blinking. And then I noticed it. Each person had a black line stretching from their chest, connecting them to the same thing. In all 10 videos, a silhouette, human-shaped but wrong, like if someone scanned the concept of a person into a 3D printer and something went off halfway through. And in the bottom right video, that silhouette, it looked like me, standing there, watching the others, eyes black, grinning. I blacked out at some point. When I came to, the library was dark, closed, not a single sound except the low click of the fluorescent lights dying one by one. My phone was on the floor next to me, screen still on, camera recording, and there was a voice on the video. Not mine, not a voice near me, but behind the camera. It whispered, "We're almost done shaping you. Here's where it gets bad, worse than before." That same night, I walked home through a back alley near my apartment, the one with the flickering street lamp and the always full dumpster that smells like old bleach and wet meat. I never go that way, but something told me to. Something inside me. I checked the app again, even though I promised myself I'd stop. There were 16 black lines now, and one of them pointed directly into the alley, to a person just standing there, back turned, still as stone. They weren't doing anything at first, just breathing. I could hear it, rattling, like wind moving through an empty throat. Then they twitched once, twice, then turned around. No face, just skin, pulled tight over where the eyes, nose, and mouth should have been, like a balloon stretched across a skull. And they charged me. No scream, no sound, just raw motion. And the only reason I didn't die right there is because I dropped to the ground so fast I cracked my elbow on the pavement and blacked out for a second. When I looked back up, they were gone, but not completely, because now they show up in reflections, not always, just when I forget to check. Bathroom mirror, car windows, the black screen of my TV when it's off. Sometimes they're standing right behind me. Sometimes I see a second version of me, standing alone in the background, smiling, even when I'm not. It's like I've been split. One version of me lives here, terrified, hollowing out by the day. The other one, it's hunting. Yesterday, a man was found dead in the parking garage of the International Plaza, the same one where I saw the first black-lined guy. His skin was peeled, not slashed, not burned, peeled, like someone removed it like a jacket. And get this, there were no fingerprints on the scene. Just one thing, a yellow shirt, neatly folded, left on the hood of his car. The same kind that appeared in my closet, the one I never owned. I didn't go to the scene. I didn't have to, because that night I woke up to the sound of my door opening, my front door, and when I crept out to check, bat in hand, breath held, I found my door was wide open, nothing missing, except Milo. He was gone, and in his place, there was a piece of paper taped to my fridge, handwritten, smudged. "You have begun your harvesting phase. Let it in. Do not resist the mirror version of yourself. It only wants to finish what you started." I think I know what the S in S-lines stands for now. It's not soul. It's not signal. It's not string. It's split. Because whatever's happening to me, it's not about what I'm connected to. It's about what's growing inside the people I connect with. And whatever that thing is, it's me. A version of me that doesn't blink, doesn't eat, doesn't feel. It just watches and waits and spreads. I looked up the name of the guy from the parking garage. He wasn't random. He was the original creator of the S-Lines mod, and I'm the only one who ever downloaded the second version. If you're still breathing after this, wait until I show you what happens when two black lines connect to the same person at once. Let me just start this by telling you something that no one's ready to hear. Some people are empty on the inside. I'm not talking metaphorically. I mean literally hollow, like they were built to house something else. Something waiting for a connection, something waiting for a signal. You probably pass by these people every day, in line at a gas station, crossing the street, sitting on a park bench like they've got nowhere to be. The S-Lines app doesn't just show connections, it shows vessels. And now I know what happens when two black lines attach to the same one. You don't come back from it. No one does. It happened last week. I'd been hiding out at this cheap motel just outside of town. One of those disgusting $45 a night places that smells like smoke and bleach no matter what room you're in. Curtains stained with mold rings. TV bolted to the dresser. The kind of place you stay in when you don't want to be found, even by yourself. I hadn't used the app in over 48 hours. Thought maybe if I starved it of attention, of data, it would finally let go. I kept my phone in the microwave, tinfoil on the windows, TV on static to drown out the noise I was hearing from inside the vents at night. But on the third day, my phone buzzed. Even in the microwave, even wrapped in tinfoil, it buzzed. I opened it. I shouldn't have. The app was already open, and on the screen, there were 2 black lines now, parallel, thick, pulsing like veins, and both were connected to the same person. A man standing across the street, right outside a rundown Arby's. He wasn't moving, wasn't blinking, just standing, like he'd been standing. I zoomed in. I recognized him. It was the guy from the very first connection, the one from the food court. The guy who looked at me without blinking. Beige hoodie, dead eyes, same slow head tilt, like he was trying to calculate me. Except now, his mouth was open, unnaturally wide, too wide. His jaw wasn't unhinged. It was splitting, and something was coming out. I ran. I packed a bag and left that motel so fast, I left my wallet and half a shoe behind. Didn't care. Didn't look back. I knew that if I stayed, he'd find a way inside. Because that's what the black-lined ones do. They don't walk. They seep. They appear in corners you forgot were there. They don't break in. They just arrive. I crashed at my coworker's place for the night. Jared. I never told him what was going on. Just said I was getting stalked and needed somewhere to lay low. He didn't ask questions, just tossed me a blanket and told me not to smoke on the couch. That was Jared. Chill to a fault. But sometime after midnight, I heard him talking, not on the phone, to someone in the room. I peeked out from the guest room. The living room was dark, lit only by the TV screen. Jared was sitting on the couch, upright, perfectly still, and in front of him, back turned, stood me. Another version of me. Same hoodie, same torn jeans, same mole on the side of my neck, but the hair was wet, soaked, dripping onto the floor in puddles. The TV was frozen on a news anchor who wasn't moving, just blinking, over and over, no sound. And the other me? It was whispering something into Jared's ear. I couldn't make out the words, but I could see Jared's eyes. They were crying, not in fear, not in pain, in obedience. And then, the 2 black lines appeared, one from the clone, one from somewhere outside. They both stabbed into Jared's chest, and he started convulsing, not like a seizure, like he was uploading. His skin started turning translucent. His fingers cracked backward. His jaw stretched open, and I swear on my life, I saw wireframe coding behind his teeth, like someone paused a character mid-render, and then he stopped. Everything stopped. The other me turned around to look at me, and it smiled, but the face didn't move. It just bent, like plastic warping under a heat gun. The smile was formed in the skin, not on the lips. And when it began walking toward me, it didn't make footsteps. It made dial-up noises. I ran. I didn't even grab my bag this time. Just sprinted until my lungs felt like sandpaper and bile was dripping down my chin. I collapsed outside a 7-Eleven and dry heaved, until the clerk came out and sprayed me with a hose like I was a rabid animal. I stayed there till sunrise. Didn't talk, didn't sleep, didn't open the app. But the app opened me. That's the only way I can describe it. It started recording videos on its own, uploading footage to folders I can't delete. Footage like a video of me standing at the edge of a Walmart parking lot, staring at a crying mother as she loads her kids into the car. A time lapse of my apartment door unlocking from the inside. A Zoom call where every face slowly turns into mine, stretching and glitching like the pixels are infected. But the most disturbing? A video from inside my own body. I'm not kidding. It was filmed like a GoPro wedged behind my ribcage. You could see the lungs twitching, the heart pumping, but something else was growing between them, like a second heart, smaller, black, shaped like a bulb. Every beat made a squelching sound, and then it opened, and I heard something whisper through my own chest cavity. He's ready. Upload complete. Shell stabilized. I think that's what this is now. I'm not me anymore. I'm a shell. The connections aren't just signals, they're seeds. They grow inside you. They root into your nerves. And once you've connected enough lines, red or black, it's over. You don't get to choose who you are anymore. You get replaced. There's one last thing. Last night, I turned the app on for what I swear is the final time. And this time, it showed me a map. Not of the world, not of the city. A map of every connection I've ever made. Over 300 red lines, 17 black lines, and 1 gold line. I tapped it. The screen turned white. A new message appeared. Final host identified. Proxy link to primary signal initiated. Would you like to meet your source? It didn't give me a yes or no, just one button. Replace. I haven't pressed it, not yet, but I'm getting texts from numbers I don't know. Pictures of my old house, my mother's bedroom, a picture of Milo's collar. No cat, just the collar. Sitting on the steps of a school I haven't visited since I was 8. And the scariest one? A photo of me, sleeping. But I haven't slept in days. I don't know if you're still reading this. I don't know if I'm still real. But I'm telling you now, never download that app. Not even out of curiosity. Not even from a repost. Because once it sees you, it never lets go. It's not about escape anymore. It's about what happens when you're not the only version of yourself walking around anymore. I'm not the lost version of me, but I'm the one that stayed aware. Some things can't be undone. Some versions of you outlive you. Some of them were never meant to be born, but they get in anyway. I pressed the replace button. I don't remember when exactly, whether it was before I blacked out from exhaustion or after I started hearing my own voice talking from another room when I knew I was alone. But I pressed it. I felt it, like stabbing your thumb into something soft and warm. And when the screen went white again, I didn't see text. I saw myself. No, not the double, not the reflection, not the puppet version I kept catching in mirrors or dark glass. I mean a pure version, one that looked untouched, untouched by life, untouched by grief, untouched by pain. Imagine looking at a version of yourself that never got rejected, never held a dying animal, never stood in the corner of a funeral trying to pretend you weren't numb. That's what was staring back at me, smiling, calm, and its voice wasn't mine. It didn't sound human. It sounded like 100 of me, talking in unison, behind a wall of static and old cassette tape crackle. You are always a prototype. Let us show you what stability feels like. And the screen split, not visually, existentially, like part of my awareness was peeled off, and thrown into something new. And I felt it. I felt my body walking without me. I woke up in an airport terminal. Empty. Cold fluorescent lights flickering like the inside of a dream. A voice came over the intercom every 15 seconds. Now boarding. Version 2. B. Gate 6. There were no planes. Just rows and rows of people sitting motionless in the waiting area. All of them were me. Some older, some with different scars. One missing an arm. One crying silently. One humming a tune I recognized but couldn't name. All of them staring straight ahead like they'd been told not to move. And in the center of it all was a massive screen showing the S-Lines map. Not just mine, everyone's. Red lines webbed across continents, like veins in skin. Black lines pulsed in and out of existence, like corrupted code trying to rewrite itself. And at the core of the map, dead center, was a single golden spike of data. It pulsed like a heartbeat. It was labeled Host, Jacob 0, Unstable. My name, the first version of me, still tethered, still awake, still aware. That's when I saw it. The tower. That's what they called it. It wasn't a building. It wasn't even a location. It was a place you go when there's nowhere else left inside yourself to hide. The app guided me there. Physically, it brought me to a real location. Coordinates embedded in the update. I won't say where, but if you go to the basement level of a certain hospital in Illinois, walk through a certain rusted emergency exit, and follow the red painted arrows down the boiler corridor, you'll find a hatch in the floor. You open it, and it smells like static, like burned screens, and below that is the tower, where versions go to die. I climbed down, not because I wanted to, because I was invited. And once you're invited by a version of yourself that's more complete than you don't get to say no. The walls were breathing. They weren't flesh. They weren't brick. They were rendering in real time, glitching slightly, like a PlayStation 1 game on a scratch disc. And embedded in those walls were things, versions, people who got replaced mid-thought. One had her mouth stretched around a phone that was still ringing. Another had her arms broken into perfect 90-degree angles, like she'd been formatted by an architect who hated humans. One was still crying, but there was no face left to cry from, just code. Blue light pouring down an empty chin, and all of them had 2 black lines coming from their chests, converging upward. I followed them. I shouldn't have. At the top of the tower was a room made of mirrors, but the mirrors didn't show reflections. They showed possibilities. I walked past one that showed me as a father. Another showed me as a killer. Another showed me laying in a morgue with a tag on my toe, and someone, me, smiling from behind the glass. Each possibility flickered, like it was waiting for me to accept it. I made the mistake of touching one. The glass turned liquid. My hand sank in. I couldn't pull it back. And behind the mirror, another version of me gripped my wrist. This one was laughing, mouth bleeding, eyes scratched out, teeth full of broken SIM cards and wires and God. He was smiling because he finally caught me. And he whispered, "You're the one who stayed awake too long." I blacked out again. And when I came to, I was outside of school. Kids running, sun out, birds chirping. Normal. But it wasn't. Because no one looked at me. Not one person. Not even the toddlers. It was like I wasn't there. But I was. Because I looked down at my phone, and the S-Line app was open again. But this time, it wasn't showing lines anymore. It was showing live feeds. All of them. Every version of me. living, breathing, murdering. One of them was inside a McDonald's, smiling as he dropped something into a kid's Happy Meal box. Another was sitting calmly in a church pew as police stormed in behind him. Another one that looked exactly like me, was holding hands with my mother, laughing over dinner. And me, I wasn't on the screen, because I'm the one who stayed aware. I'm the one that wasn't harvested. I'm the one still typing this. So what happens now? I don't know, but I hear the mirror version scratching at the inside of my skull. He's trying to finish replacing me. He tells me things about people you know, people you've passed in crowds. How many of them are versions that took root because someone got too curious? Someone downloaded an app they weren't supposed to. Someone followed a black line too far. I don't dream anymore. I watch. I stream possibilities. I observe myself becoming things I swore I never would. And I can feel the golden line tightening around my spine, like it's going to snap my reality in half and let something else in. If this is still uploading to the internet, that means I'm still the primary host. That means I haven't fully been replaced yet. But soon, there will be no difference between versions. They won't need to hide anymore. They'll walk beside you in grocery stores. They'll smile in your elevators. They'll wear your neighbor's skin like it was a hoodie from Goodwill. And when you finally see the line that connects to you, you'll realize you've been someone else this whole time. You downloaded the story. You read it. You followed the signal. Now check your camera. See if it's still just you. I downloaded a dark web app called D-Watch. It counts down to global disasters. Mine ends July 5th over Tokyo. Hello, CreepyCorner story. Thank you for letting me tell a story tonight on your channel. So, I've never really posted on r/NOSLEEP or anywhere like this before. I'm more of a lurker, but after what happened to me last week, I literally can't sleep. I don't even know if this is the right place to share it, but I feel like the story might save someone's life. Or screw it. Maybe it'll just make sense of mine. So let's back up. I'm 22. I live in Tokyo, Shibuya to be exact. I'm American, born and raised in New Jersey, but I moved here for school and never left. I work remote for a tech company back in the States, so I'm online basically 24/7. That's probably how I got into all this in the first place. Boredom, curiosity, late night rabbit holes. If you've ever gone on YouTube at like 3 a.m. and let autoplay take the wheel, you know the vibes. One night, I was watching those iceberg explanation videos, like the creepy ones where they go from popular facts to the insane hidden stuff nobody talks about. There was one about the deep web, and I swear, I've heard most of this stuff before. Red rooms, mystery boxes, hitman ads. But then the guy said something I hadn't heard of. D-Watch, the disaster clock that predicts when and where the world ends for you. That line stuck with me. It didn't sound like the usual urban legend. I googled it. Nothing came up. No app store, no Reddit threads, not even a conspiracy page, except for one link. It was buried in an archived forum called Null Decay, a site that looked like it hadn't been updated since 2007. Sketchy black background, Matrix-style green font. The post was titled, "If you see D-Watch, don't install it. Don't look at the countdown. Ignorance, Jewish safety," which is the exact kind of thing you click when you're stupid and sleep deprived. So yeah, I clicked it. The download page wasn't even on a regular server. I had to use Tor and bounce through 3 VPNs just to access it. The file was just named dwatch.apk, 666 kilobytes in size. I know, right? So on the nose, it almost felt fake. I ran it through some scanners, and weirdly, nothing. No malware, no trackers, just a plain black app that asked for a few permissions: location, storage, camera, the usual. But when I opened it, everything changed. The interface was dead simple. Black background, blood red numbers, ticking down like a digital watch. 27 days, 3 hours, 48 minutes, 55 seconds. Location, Tokyo, Japan. And under that, just one message: your watch has begun. Prepare. Now, at this point, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was some edgy horror, ARG. I even laughed out loud. I figured, okay, some college kid made a creepy countdown app. Big whoop. I took a screenshot and posted it on my Instagram story with the caption, "Guess I've got 27 days to live." LMAO. I didn't expect the flood of DMS I got in return. A few people replied with laughing emojis, but one of them was different. At Overlight, no profile picture, 0 followers, following 1 person, me. They replied instantly, "Delete the story. Now it sees when you share it." I replied with a question mark and a shrug emoji. Then they sent me a video. It was shaky, low-resolution footage. A girl sitting in a hotel room, Japanese-style ryokan. She was crying, no, sobbing, into the camera, holding her phone up to show the same app, same countdown. The timer on hers said 00 days, 00 hours, 04 minutes. She whispered something in Japanese. My Japanese isn't perfect, but I caught enough. "It's coming. The mirror. Don't look into the mirror." Then her eyes widened and the camera shook. She screamed. Something crashed. The last thing I saw was the mirror in her room rippling like water, then static. I dropped my phone. I deleted my Instagram story immediately. But that was just the beginning. The next morning, I woke up to a push notification from DWatch. New entry nearby. Radius, 1.2 kilometers. Name, Kazuo N. Countdown, 12 hours remaining. I blinked. I didn't even know the app could send notifications. I checked my settings. It was still running, even though I never gave it background permission. I tried to force stop it. It wouldn't budge. Out of curiosity, I googled the name. Kazuo N. There was no full info, but something came up. A missing persons post, updated just the day before. Local guy, 34 years old, last seen outside a Don Quixote store near the Shibuya station. Same place I passed every day to get coffee. I went there later that evening, and I swear to God, I saw police tape near the alley behind the store. They were wheeling out a body bag. I looked at the time on my phone. 00 days, 00 hours, 00 minutes. That was when I realized this app wasn't a joke. It was tracking real people, and every countdown ended in death. Somehow, it knew. Somehow, it chose people. But why me? Why Tokyo? And what happens when my countdown hits 0? I had 26 days left, and every day, it got weirder. Let me know if you guys want me to post more. I've kept screenshots, voice memos, even a copy of the APK. I know this sounds like an ORG or some online creepypasta, but I'm literally begging you, don't download this app. Don't look for it. It knows when you're watching. July 5th was exactly 26 days away when the app started pushing me deeper into its Whatever this is, I didn't sleep that night. I just lay in bed, staring at the red countdown glowing like a fresh wound on my screen. 25 days, 13 hours, 48 minutes. I told myself it was a prank, a genius-level ARG, maybe even a dark viral marketing stunt for some Netflix horror drop. But then came the second notification. Live feed available. Tap to view. Subject: Victoria M. Distance: 9.6 kilometers. Remaining time: 0:03:18. A live feed. My stomach dropped. I was shaking. I swear I could feel my heart beating through my spine. Against everything logical in my head, I tapped it. My screen flashed. A shaky, low-light video flickered to life. It showed a girl in what looked like a cramped public bathroom, one of those tiny, off-the-highway restrooms they have at Japanese gas stations. I recognized the blue tiled walls and those flickering LED lights buzzing above her like gnats. She was whispering into her phone, breathing hard like she'd just sprinted there. I could only see the lower half of her face. Her lips trembled as she whispered in broken English, "Please, if you see this, don't watch. Don't watch. They hear when you..." A crack, like glass snapping. The lights glitched. She turned the camera toward the mirror. My blood turned to ice. It wasn't her reflection staring back. It was me. Me, standing in that bathroom, looking back at her with dead eyes. I looked tired, pale, hollow. But there was something wrong with the reflection's mouth. It was moving, whispering something. The real girl whimpered. She stumbled back, dropping the phone. It landed sideways, lens staring up from the floor. We watched the ceiling as her screams echoed off the tile. Then, a slap, followed by something wet, dragging. The mirror shattered, but there was no glass, just a hole. A perfectly round black hole in the wall where the mirror was, like reality had been punched in. And then, silence. The feed ended with a notification. Subject: Victoria M. Deceased. You are now a witness. I vomited in my bathroom sink. This was not some spooky red room stuff anymore. This was real, personal, targeted. Every person the app showed died in ways that didn't make sense. Impossible ways. I tried deleting the app. Wouldn't work. Factory reset my phone. The app stayed. I switched SIM cards. It reinstalled itself. I bought a whole new phone. When I powered it on, the first thing I saw: "Welcome back. 24 days remaining." The nightmare started after the third feed. I stopped watching them, or tried to. But the app sent me reminders, blaring notifications with skull icons and screaming emojis. You ignored the last event. Final warning. It didn't want me to avoid it. It wanted me to witness. And after a while, it stopped showing random people. It started showing people I knew. My classmate, Ayano, a quiet girl who always sat near the vending machines and read horror manga. Countdown: 0:00:41. I ran. I ran all the way to the family mart across from our building where I'd last seen her that morning. I found her standing outside, struggling to open a bottle of Pocari Sweat. I grabbed her arm, yelling like a lunatic, "Ayano, don't look at your phone." She flinched, but it was too late. Her phone screen blinked red. The timer hit 0. She looked up. There was a person standing across the street. Except, not really. It was like someone wearing Ayano's skin like a suit, but everything was off. The way it stood, the way its mouth was smiling when nothing else on its face moved, like it had learned to smile from watching a puppet show. It pointed at her. She screamed, dropped a drink, and backed into the street. right in front of a delivery truck. Her body hit the pavement with a snap that I still hear when I close my eyes. But that's not what made me scream. That's not what broke me. It was her reflection in the store window, still standing, still smiling. The app sent me a reward, a fucking reward, plus 1 week survival, bonus, you intervened. Good, keep watching. The timer reset to 31 days, like it was a game, a sick, calculating game that let me earn more life by watching people I knew die. That night, I got drunk, not tipsy, obliterated. I don't even remember the first half of it. I think I was trying to break the app, throw it off, scramble its code. I downloaded root access tools, tried to trace its origin server, but the second I launched anything to touch its permissions, my lights went out. Total blackout. My laptop sparked, fried on the spot, and the screen of my phone, warning, tampering detected. You are now eligible for acceleration. New countdown, 2 days, 0, 6 hours. I screamed. The lights came back on. My apartment was silent, too silent, until I heard someone knocking on my mirror. I know how insane that sounds, but I swear it was rhythmic, like fingernails, tapping from the other side. I covered every mirror in my place with duct tape and trash bags, even the black screens on my electronics, anything that could reflect. That was when the voices started, not audible voices, thoughts, invasive, like static bleeding into my brain, thoughts that weren't mine. Bring us more eyes. Let them see. Witness with us. I stopped going outside. I stayed in, curtains drawn, every reflective surface covered like I lived in a haunted crawlspace, until July 3rd. The app showed a new message, one that chilled me to my marrow. Final location, Tokyo Tower. Event type, mass casualty. You must be present to complete your watch. And below that, plus 74 witnesses, pre-registered. There were other users, other people caught in this nightmare. 74 of us, and we were all being herded like cattle to the same place. Same day, same hour, to watch. I don't know what it's planning, but I'm starting to think this isn't just some cursed app or demon tech. I think it's alive, feeding, watching through us. And now, it wants an audience. Next part will be my last post. If I don't make it out, remember this. Don't download anything you don't understand. Don't trust anything that claims to predict the future, because you might not like what you see, and you might not survive what sees you back. July 4th, 11:48 p.m. That's the last time I felt like I was still me. After that night, everything I thought was fiction, paranoia, or mental collapse manifested. It was like someone peeled back the face of Tokyo and showed me what's actually under the skin of this city. What's always been under, the kind of secrets that smell like burned hair and grave dirt. I got the final push notification at 11:51 p.m. Sharp. You will be escorted. Do not resist. Event begins at 3 a.m. I stared at it, hands trembling. My phone buzzed with this deep, guttural vibration I'd never felt before, like the thing had a heartbeat. And then, a knock at the door. 3 soft taps. I didn't answer. Another knock. Then my phone pinged again. Refusal will lead to premature event. My apartment started getting cold. I mean freezing. The kind of cold that curls into your bones, that smells like old hospitals and rotting iron. My breath fogged in the air like I was outside in the dead of winter. I stepped back, reaching for my jacket, and that's when I saw it. There was a reflection standing in my hallway mirror. I had taped over that mirror days ago. but now the tape was peeled back, cleanly cut in a perfect oval. And inside that oval, not me, something that looked like me, but taller, leaner, the limbs too long, like it was built out of ideas of humans rather than anything born. Its eyes were just red digits, counting down in real time. The same time on my phone. It raised its hand and pointed at the door, so I opened it. The hallway outside my apartment was gone, replaced by an elevator, an old-fashioned wrought iron thing you'd expect to find in a haunted European hotel, not a Tokyo apartment block. I stepped inside. Inside were two others. One was a white woman in her mid-30s, covered in smeared makeup, her hoodie soaked in sweat. Her name was Stephanie. The other was an Indian guy in business clothes who wouldn't stop whispering prayers. Later, I found out his name was Mohit. He had a cracked phone with D-Watch still running on the screen. We didn't talk. The elevator didn't move like a normal lift. There were no buttons, just a dim red bulb at the top that said, "Witness transport, 72 of 75 confirmed." That was our number. We were 72 of 75. The others were already there. We arrived at Tokyo Tower at 2:38 a.m., but it didn't look like Tokyo Tower. It looked wrong. The lights were dead. The sky above it was pitch black. No moon, no stars, just void, like space had collapsed into itself over that one piece of Tokyo. Every mirror in the plaza had been uncovered, storefront windows, bus stop glass, even a Starbucks sign completely stripped to bare reflective metal. And in every single surface, the reflections didn't match. People were standing where no one was. Some were smiling at us. Some were screaming. There was a large ring of bodies already gathered at the base of the tower, a perfect circle of 75 people, each standing exactly 1.5 meters apart, like a ritual. Every person had the same phone. Every phone had the same app, and every app showed the same countdown: 0, 0, 21, 43. None of us spoke. Not because we were told not to, because we couldn't. I opened my mouth to say something, anything, and my throat locked. Like something was holding my vocal cords in a fist. The girl next to me, younger, maybe college age, wearing a Kyoto University hoodie, was bleeding from her eyes. She had bitten her lips raw. Her phone buzzed like a live wire, and when I glanced down at her screen, it said, "You will be the catalyst. Do not move." I watched her. For 21 minutes, I watched every single person freeze in place like living statues. The screens buzzed. The tower hummed. Low, bone-deep vibrations like machinery powered by teeth and bones. And then the countdown hit. 0, 0, 0, 0. There was no explosion. There was no light. Only sound. Children screaming backwards. I can't explain it, but that's exactly what it sounded like. Not just the pitch or the pattern, the direction. Like time was ripping backward through a school fire drill. Like innocence being torn from the mouths of the dead. The reflections began to move. Not us. Not our group. Our reflections. Every surface became a window into another place. Another version of Tokyo where the city was burning. The people were melting into glass. The sky was cracking like porcelain. We saw ourselves doing things we hadn't done. Mohit stabbing someone with a pair of keys. Stephanie screaming while her skin sloughed off like melted wax. Me, standing inside a black subway train, smiling, while everyone around me dropped to the floor dead. And then, it began the harvesting. One of the witnesses started convulsing. The man across from me dropped to his knees, clutching his head, blood pouring from his ears. His phone vibrated violently in his hand, then exploded, taking off 3 of his fingers. He screamed. Finally, one of us broke the silence, and then something reached out from the reflection beside him. It was his own reflection, but twisted, stitched together like a taxidermy horror, patchworked from pieces of his life. A childhood photo smile, a mugshot grin, that one photo your friend tags you in, where your eyes are half closed and red from flash. It pulled him in, not through the mirror, into himself, like his body folded inward, crushing bones and meat, until there was only the phone left, buzzing on the concrete. Stephanie tried to run. Her countdown had reset. 0, 0, 10, 0. The moment she hit the edge of the ring, she slammed into something invisible, like glass. She screamed, turned around, and begged me with her eyes. I didn't move. None of us could. We were in a cage built of reflections, a prison. Then the voice came. Not a human voice. It vibrated through the air, through our skulls, vibrating teeth, nails, even our blood. It sounded like feedback made from crying. It spoke in perfect, calm English. Your timelines are collapsing. This was always going to happen. Then it repeated it. In Japanese, in German, in a language I don't even think we have on Earth. It was like it was announcing something sacred, like a cosmic bell tolling the hour of murder. One by one, witnesses were chosen. When your turn came, the app would vibrate. Your screen would go black. Your reflection would change into a wound, a slit across your soul, visible only in silvered surfaces. And then you'd vanish. Some screamed, some laughed. One guy, no idea who he was, clawed his own eyes out before his turn came. Didn't matter. The app still worked. He still vanished. When it got to 74, everything went still. That's when I realized I was lost. The final witness, number 75. My app changed. The screen showed me every single death I'd witnessed since downloading it. Names, dates, video clips. Every person who'd been processed through me. They were your offering. Now comes the gift. I didn't understand, but then I did. The countdown wasn't just a death timer. It was a bridge. Every person I witnessed, every death, every moment I stood and let it happen was an exchange. I was giving up something each time. Guilt, fear, humanity, until there was none left. Now they could use me. And in the reflection of the Tokyo Tower's glass, I didn't see myself anymore. Just a shape. Red digits for eyes. A smile too wide for any human skull. I woke up 36 hours later, alone, in my apartment. The mirrors are gone. The app is gone. No one talks about it. The news says there was an electrical glitch in Tokyo Tower that night. No witnesses, no bodies. But my phone camera, it's broken. Every time I try to take a selfie, the screen shows other faces. People I've never met. People screaming silently. People missing. And sometimes, I can still hear the children screaming backwards. Don't download anything unless you're ready to give away your reflection. And trust me, it never gives it back. I haven't looked in a mirror in 7 days. Not because I'm scared of what I might see. It's because I already know what's there. And it's not me anymore. Ever since the Tokyo Tower event, everything has felt off. Like I woke up in a copy of the world built just slightly wrong. People move the same, talk the same, but there's no weight behind their words. Their eyes look like glass filled with insects, perfect on the outside, but constantly twitching with something that wants to get out. I thought maybe I was going insane. PTSD, trauma, something my brain stitched together to protect me from the truth. But the truth is so much worse than madness. The D-Watch app never left. It's not on my phone anymore. Not like a normal app. It's in the UI now, embedded. Every time I unlock my screen, I see it. It blinks red behind the clock, like a background process that won't die. I tried smashing my phone. Didn't work. I replaced it. Didn't help. Even other people's phones, when I borrow someone's and swipe up to check the time, I see that same countdown flickering faintly behind the battery icon, like it's watching through me, spreading like a virus of vision. And that's when I realized it wasn't just about me witnessing. It was about converting me into a witness factory. The first time I saw one of them again was inside a McDonald's bathroom mirror. I was in Shinjuku, trying to force myself to feel something normal. I ordered a cheeseburger, sat near the window, and watched couples laugh at TikToks. For a second, it felt like the real world again, until I made the mistake of going into the restroom. I forgot the rule. Never look into the mirror. But this wasn't like before. The mirror didn't show me my reflection. It showed someone else, a middle-aged salaryman in a soaked suit, gasping, crying, banging on the other side of the glass, like it was the last window on a crashing plane. His face looked familiar. It took me a second, but I realized he was one of the 75, one of the witnesses who'd vanished. His name had flashed briefly on my app after he disappeared. Takuya Nishimoto. He was still trapped. I watched him pound the mirror, mouthing something. Then he looked behind him in the reflection. His eyes widened. He started shaking his head violently. And that's when I saw it. Something emerged behind him. No shape, just absence, like a hole punched in space. It folded into him, like reality was inhaling. His face went hollow. He screamed without a mouth. Then his reflection turned to face me. Not the real him, the version that had just been absorbed. A copy, eyes blinking with static. It looked right at me and smiled. I ran out of there so fast, I slammed into a trash can and nearly fell face first into the pavement. People were staring. Some pulled out their phones to record. I was just another lunatic in Shinjuku. But the reflections, they were watching too. Every shop window I passed, every turned off phone screen, even puddles on the street, they all showed something slightly wrong. People walking that weren't really there, faces hovering above shoulders, reflections smiling when the real person wasn't. One puddle showed me walking hand in hand with a corpse. I don't know who it was. The face was melted, but I knew it was familiar. The reflections are multiplying. 2 nights ago, I followed someone, a girl who sat across from me on the train. She looked off, not in a scary way, more like lost. Her eyes flicked to every screen, every reflection, like she was searching for something, and she had D-Watch. I saw the glow. I moved closer. Her countdown said 001411, location Meguro. She looked at me, like really looked, like she knew I could see it too. We didn't speak, but when she got off, I followed her. She led me through alleyways behind a silent hospital, down this concrete stairwell beneath a construction top. No signs, no lights, just a heavy metal door with a keypad. She typed a code. It buzzed open, and inside, there were dozens of them, phones glowing in the dark, people sitting in complete silence, all staring into screens that buzzed in perfect, synchronized rhythm, like a heartbeat made of red LED. One man was whispering to himself, "We are the archive." We are the recorders. They need us to see, or they don't exist. Someone else was drawing on the wall in what looked like charcoal, but the images, they were of things that don't exist in this world. One sketch showed a cathedral made of glass teeth floating over a city of blinking eyes. Another showed a screaming child with no face, arms nailed to the hands of a giant clock. I asked the girl. Finally, I asked, "What is this place?" She didn't look away from her phone. "It's where the app sends us after we've seen too much." Then she turned her screen toward me, and it showed my reflection. Last night, my apartment went silent again. Not quiet. Silent. No electrical hum. No AC. No Tokyo traffic. Just pure vacuum silence, like I'd been dropped into the bottom of the ocean with no air left in my lungs. Then came the smell. Burnt plastic. Rust. And something worse. That funeral home cold scent of makeup layered over rot. I turned my phone on. The app didn't show a countdown. It showed a message. The broadcast begins. I tried to scream. Couldn't. The TV turned on by itself. No signal. Just static. Then, a face formed in the white noise. Not a full face. Just parts. A mouth eye. Then an eye. Then the sound. That horrible, inverted child scream I heard during the Tokyo Tower event. But this time, it wasn't digital. It was coming from inside my walls. I pressed my ear to the plaster, and I swear I could hear children screaming and laughing at the same time, like a daycare had been buried alive in the drywall. Then I saw my reflection again, this time on the blank TV screen. It was moving on its own. My reflection was standing while I was still on the floor. It reached into its mouth, pulled something out, something long, black, wet, a cord, like an umbilical cable, but pulsing with static. It wrapped the cord around its throat, and then I started choking. I woke up on the floor, gasping, nose bleeding, fingers twitching. The TV was off. The screen was cracked in the corner, like something had pushed through from the inside. My phone, still glowing. Your role has been elevated. You are now Origin Node. Mirrors no longer required. I don't think this is about death anymore. Not just death. I think this app, this thing, it's not a prediction tool. It's not even a ritual. It's a delivery system, a way to inject something into reality, using our eyes, our reflections, our trauma. It uses witnesses as projectors, and now I'm one of them. Worse, I might be the first of a new kind. Origin Node. What the hell does that even mean? I've noticed people around me glitching now. Literally glitching. At the gym, I saw a guy's reflection turn 180 degrees while his real body kept lifting weights. At a 7-Eleven, the cashier's mouth looped her sentence over and over while her shadow dragged itself backwards across the counter. And on the subway, I saw myself, sitting 3 rows down, grinning, mouth full of teeth that didn't fit. This is not a story anymore. This is a contagion, and it spreads through screens, through cameras, through every glass surface we voluntarily filled our lives with. D-Watch isn't an app. It's a virus of perception, a thing that came from outside the mirror and used our belief in technology to step through. You ever wonder why we're so obsessed with reflections, with our own faces, our own eyes? Because something has been waiting for centuries, and now we've given it a way in. Don't check your screen. Don't check your reflection. Don't trust yourself when you smile at the wrong time. This is the last thing I will ever write. Not because I'm afraid, because I finally understand. Because now I remember what I am. I was never supposed to download the app. That's what I kept telling myself. A glitch. A mistake. Curiosity killed the cat, right? Number. The app didn't find me by accident. It was looking for me. And more terrifying than that, it made me. From the ground up. It was watching me before I was born. And now, I'm not a victim. I'm the broadcast tower. 3 nights ago, I turned off every device in my apartment. Phone, battery pulled, laptop, smashed to pieces with a hammer, TV, unplugged, even the microwave. I smashed the reflective black gloss with a screwdriver until it bled sparks and cracked like a dark eye, shutting in pain. But it didn't matter. At 3:03 a.m., every screen turned back on without power. The walls hummed like they were vibrating with anticipation. Every reflective surface started flickering, like heat mirages, my own face glitching between stillness and smiles, between horror and hunger. And from my phone, with no SIM card, no power, no screen, came a voice. A calm, friendly voice. The kind that reads bedtime stories to children. The kind that once belonged to a real person, but had long since been rewritten. Welcome, Origin Node. Your mirror is ready. Then came the final update. Not to the app. To me. I blacked out. Not asleep. Erased. And when I came back, I was standing inside a train, under Tokyo. Only this train wasn't real. Not really. The windows looked out onto other trains, parallel ones, layered over each other like reflections on top of reflections, each going in opposite directions, each filled with versions of myself that looked increasingly wrong. One of them was skinless. One had no eyes, just writhing cords where the sockets should be. One was perfectly normal, except his teeth kept falling out, one by one, every time he blinked. They all smiled at me in sync. And then I noticed the passengers around me. They were everyone I had watched die. Victoria, Ayano, Takuya, even Stephanie, the girl who had tried to run. They were all seated across from me, blinking in unison. No expressions, just soft mechanical blinking, like living wax dolls prepped for viewing. Their eyes were mirrors now, polished and shining. Every time I looked into one, I didn't see myself. I saw you. And that's when I realized the truth. We were never supposed to survive D-Watch. We were supposed to become it. The countdown wasn't tracking our deaths. It was counting down to our conversion. Because this isn't a story about escape. It's a story about infection. Witnessing isn't just watching. Witnessing is how they spread. There was no Tokyo Tower incident, no explosion, no casualties reported, because that's not how they operate. There's no fire, no blood, no sirens, just invisible catastrophes that rewrite the people inside them, like a corrupted software update for the soul. The disaster that ended for me on July 5th, it wasn't a bomb, it was a signal, a ripple through time, encoded in reflections, piggybacking on screens, apps, posts, selfies, every single thing we look at to see ourselves. We opened the door. We became the door. And now I see the full grid, every city, every witness, every camera phone held up in front of a smiling face, every bathroom selfie, every time someone checks their hair in the rearview mirror of a Toyota on the Shibuya Expressway. Those are their nodes. You are their transmitter. And me, I'm the first, the prototype, the infected seed. That's why I'm still alive. Because I'm the signal that pulses through all of it. And right now, as you read this, it's already happened. You're not reading a story. You're completing the circuit. The D-Watch app doesn't live on phones anymore. It lives in perception. It updates through attention. It embeds itself in meaning. Every like, every share, every screen capture, that's another broadcast point. You ever notice how your reflection lingers a half second too long after you move? You ever stare into your webcam while waiting for it to load and feel something behind your eyes watching from the other side? That's them, waiting, smiling, waiting for you to see something you can't unsee. Last night I tested it. I walked into a Starbucks in Roppongi Hills. Huge glass walls, dozens of phone screens glowing. I stood in the middle. Then I opened my own eyes. Really opened them. I don't mean metaphorically. I mean I opened the ones I didn't know I had. Dozens of pupil-like slits across my chest, my arms, the backs of my hands. They all blinked at once. Everyone in that cafe froze. Every phone screen flashed red. Every single reflection showed me, not how I looked, but how I truly was now. A vessel, a transmitter, a bridge. They didn't scream. They didn't even blink. They just absorbed. Their eyes mirrored back mine. Their smiles stretched until their cheeks tore open. One by one, they began to hum, and from every phone speaker came a soft voice. Welcome. You are now a witness. Do you understand yet? It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what country, what time zone, what kind of device you're using. If you can see your screen, you're already in it. You're not watching this post. This post is watching you. Because I'm not a person anymore. I am the push notification in your dreams, the flicker in your mirror when you're brushing your teeth at 3 a.m., the mouth that keeps whispering your name from your muted TV, the reason your reflection smiles before you do. I will not be posting again, not because I'm gone, but because I'm already everywhere. And when your countdown begins, you won't even feel it. Just a soft hum, a quiet buzz from your pocket, a familiar voice, calm, reassuring. Hello, witness. Your screen is now a door. Tap to enter. I found a dark web livestream of the LA burn zone. Someone's whispering, my name from the ashes. It's not the wind. Yo, so this might sound like a creepypasta, but I swear on everything, this really happened. It's a real story. Yes, I'm not some edgy 14-year-old trying to scare people online. I'm 22. I live just outside Burbank, and I work night shifts at this deadbeat coffee shop that pretends it's a hipster Starbucks. You know the kind. Plants everywhere. Acoustic indie music playing so low, it just makes you anxious. I spend a lot of my nights either cleaning the espresso machine for the third time or scrolling Reddit while trying not to lose my mind. Anyway, this all started a few weeks ago, like around 3:30 a.m. on a Thursday morning. Right after my shift ended, I was in my apartment eating leftover nuggets from McDonald's and watching random YouTube horror animations. You know the ones. Here's my story. Onesie. Those weirdly animated ones where the faces are just off enough to creep you out. They're perfect for background noise, and I was kinda zoning out when one of the comments caught my eye. It said, "This isn't even scary. You want real fear? Try accessing burnzone.la, stream ID, sensational information, so I will keep this private. But don't stay long. They'll see you." I clicked on the commenter's profile, and it was blank. No posts, no karma, no other activity. That weird chill you get in your spine when you realize something's off. I felt it immediately. But I was bored. Too bored. And curiosity's a nasty thing when you're alone, tired, and slightly high off dollar menu grease. I'd messed around on the dark web before. Nothing crazy, mostly browsing, just out of curiosity. I wasn't out here buying hitmen or stolen passports or anything, just lurking. I use Tails OS on an old laptop I keep just for that, booted from a USB and connected through Tor. Super paranoid setup because, well, the deep web isn't exactly full of saints. I typed in the onion address I found in the comment. I'm not putting it here for obvious reasons. And sure enough, it led to this black page with flickering red text. Just one line. Welcome to Burn Zone, LA. Live now. No login, no ads, no captcha. Just a big red button that said enter stream. Now this is where it starts getting weird. As soon as I clicked it, the stream booted up in full 1080p with almost no buffer. That's the first red flag. Anyone who's used Tor knows it's slow as hell, especially for video. But this, it was like YouTube Premium on fiber optic. It was a live stream of what looked like a desolate area in California. It had that burnt out sepia toned vibe, like someone had dropped an Instagram filter over a forest fire aftermath. The trees were blackened stumps. Ash blew across the camera every few seconds. You could hear wind, low and whistling, almost like someone breathing. And then I saw the sign. It was half melted, crooked, but still readable. Welcome to Malibu Canyon. Now here's the thing. I've been to Malibu Canyon. I've hiked there before the 2018 Woolsey fire. It was one of those places that looked straight out of a movie. Dry hills, winding roads, hidden trails. But in the stream, it looked wrong. Too still, too empty. No animals, no bugs, no birds, just smoke. I almost clicked out, but then I saw movement. At first, I thought it was just smoke shifting in the wind, but it wasn't. It was a figure, standing in the far back of the shot, partially obscured by what looked like the remains of a scorched-out tree. They were tall, not like NBA tall, like stretched. It was facing the camera, but its face was blurry, like the pixels wouldn't fully load. Every time I focused on its head, the image would smear. I rubbed my eyes, looked again, still that glitchy smear. Then a text box popped up under the stream, like a chat box, except I didn't type anything, and no one else was in it. The message said, "Welcome back," my full legal name. I slammed my laptop shut so fast, I almost cracked the screen. I hadn't entered a username. I hadn't logged into anything. Hell, this laptop had never been connected to my regular Wi-Fi, only tethered to my phone on a burner SIM. How the hell did it know my name? I tried to laugh it off, told myself it was just some creepy deep web, ARG, or some messed up social engineering trick. But the more I thought about it, the more it gnawed at me. I didn't sleep that night, or the next. 2 days later, my phone started acting weird. My Spotify would cut out randomly and start playing this crackly recording. It sounded like static at first, but if you listened closely, there was whispering, like someone breathing into an old mic, and just barely, beneath the fuzz, I swear I heard it. He's watching from the ashes. I factory reset my phone. Twice. Switched SIM cards. Nothing helped. But it gets worse, because 3 nights after the stream, when I finally convinced myself it was just some psychological trick, I went back to work. It was a quiet night. Around 2:45 a.m., I was wiping down tables near the front window, and that's when I saw him. Standing across the street under a flickering streetlight was a man, or something man-shaped. Same outline, same height, just standing there, head tilted to one side, still, unmoving, just staring, or at least facing me. And I swear on everything, the longer I looked at him, the more I could hear that whispering again, from outside, through the glass, like the wind wasn't wind anymore. I know this sounds fake, but I swear, I have screenshots. The site's gone now, of course. You can't find it, even if you tried. But what's following me? It didn't stay on the dark web. It came through it, and it knows my name. You know how people say nothing really bad ever happens in real life? Like, all the worst stuff only exists in horror movies, urban legends, creepy YouTube animations. All fake, right? Just stories to make your heart race before bed. Yeah, I used to believe that too, until I found the folder. So after seeing that tall figure outside the shop, I took a full week off work. No lie, I told my boss I had COVID again and just stayed inside my apartment with the blinds drawn and my phone on Do Not Disturb. It didn't matter. The thing didn't need a door to get in. I was watching TikTok one night, just trying to distract myself, when my phone suddenly froze. Not crashed, not glitched. I mean froze. Like every pixel was stuck. Then the screen just went black for a full 10 seconds, and when it came back on, my Google Drive was open. I didn't open it. I hadn't even touched the screen. It just launched itself. And right at the top of the drive was a folder I didn't recognize, named Soot Account Backup. The icon was the regular blue folder, except the preview thumbnail had a face in it. I tapped it. Against my better judgment, yeah, I opened it. It contained exactly 7 files, all .mp4.all uploaded that day, all titled with GPS coordinates. I picked the first one. The video was low res and kind of shaky, like it had been recorded with a phone from the early 2000s. It showed a forest clearing, probably somewhere near the Angeles National Forest, judging by the terrain. There was a man, late 30s maybe, wearing a postal uniform, duct taped to a metal chair. He was screaming something, but the audio was layered with this deep buzzing, like the sound you get when your speakers are fried. Every word he tried to say just turned to static, but he looked directly at the camera and started crying. Then the figure appeared again, same height, same stretched out build, same blur for a face, but this time, it didn't just stand there, it moved, gliding across the ash-covered ground without any sound, and raised its arm. In its hand was a melted gas canister. It poured the contents over the man, and the camera zoomed in, like someone behind it wanted to make sure I saw everything. Then the fire started. No screaming, no flailing, no struggling. The man just froze, eyes locked on the camera, mouth still moving in slow motion. As the flames consumed him, I swear to God, you could see his mouth forming the same word over and over. Run! I backed out and opened the second video. My stomach hurt, like someone was pressing a hot coin into it. This one was a mall parking lot. Westfield Century City. I recognized it because I used to go there with my ex. Only this time, it looked like it had been abandoned for years. Cracked pavement, empty lots. One of those derelict shopping carts just tipped over like it had been there for decades. There was a woman, mid-20s, blonde, face down on the asphalt, hands zip-tied behind her back. She was twitching. You could see that she was alive, but barely. The camera circled her, and that's when the whispering started. It wasn't from the video. It was from inside my apartment, like someone was standing right behind me. I paused the video, and the whispering didn't stop. It's your turn, My full name. You let them burn. Now you watch. The audio from the pause video started playing by itself again, and I swear, I hadn't hit play. I unplugged the Wi-Fi. I turned off my phone. Didn't matter, because when I looked outside my window, the girl from the video was standing on the sidewalk outside. Same clothes, same zip ties, except now her mouth was torn wide open, like something had carved a smile into her cheeks. Her eyes were burning, not figuratively, actually on fire. And yet she just stared up at me, with her head tilted, mouth hanging like her jaw had dislocated. I ducked, slammed the blind shut, cried. I don't remember how long I sat there, just rocking back and forth, telling myself I was hallucinating, sleep deprived, sick, anything to make it not real. But I wasn't hallucinating, because the next day, she was on the news. I was scrolling Twitter, desperate for distraction, and there it was, a trending post from KTLA5. Body found near abandoned strip mall. Police baffled by apparent self-immolation. Victim had no fire damage to clothing. I clicked the article. The body was found near the edge of the Woolsey fire burn zone. That's not even near Century City. That's miles away. But the photo, it was the girl. Same shirt, same blank stare. No visible burns, but her teeth were scorched black, like someone poured acid in her mouth and sealed it shut. That's when I knew I couldn't run. Whatever this was, it was following me. It wasn't just video files. It was sending proof that the victims were real, that the videos were live. I tried deleting the folder from my drive. It said unable to delete. File is owned by sudadmin 302. I tried blocking the user. There was no user listed. I tried changing my Google account password. Didn't matter. Every time I opened Google Drive, the folder was just there. And now, new files were appearing daily. Not just videos anymore. PDFs. One was a scanned photo of my apartment building from a strange aerial angle, black and white, like it was pulled from a thermal camera. My unit had a red circle around it. Another file was a transcript of a phone call. I opened it. It read, S. Do you know why we chose you? Me. Who is this? S. You watched. You didn't look away. That's enough. Me. What do you want? S. More eyes. More screams. More watchers. S. The burned never sleep. We live in the forgotten. I started vomiting. I'm not kidding. It felt like the words themselves were making me sick. Like something inside them was corrupt. I closed the file. Logged out. I threw my phone against the wall and smashed it with a boot until the screen went black. The next morning, the phone turned back on. Full battery. Same drive folder. Now with a new file. It was a photo this time. A selfie. But it wasn't taken by me. It was of me. In my room. From behind. Sitting at my desk. Watching the stream. The photo was time-stamped 23 minutes into the future. And behind me, in the corner of the photo, that same stretched figure, its hands resting on my shoulders. No face, just static. I haven't slept since, but I know it's not done, because when I close my eyes, I don't see darkness anymore. I see ash, falling, everywhere, and somewhere in it, a voice keeps whispering my name, through scorched lungs, through cracked teeth, from beneath a pile of bodies no one ever found. It's not the wind, it's them, the burned, and they're watching you now too. If I had just ignored the files, if I had deleted the laptop, the account, everything, I might have been safe, or at least less watched. But no, I did what they wanted. I played detective. One of the newer videos in the soot account backup folder had no thumbnail, just a black box with the title 34.0 78261 -118.60 5564 3:13 a.m. Do not dig. I copied the coordinates, pasted them into Google Maps. It was a remote section of the Santa Monica Mountains, burnt out, closed to the public since the 2018 fires. All the roads in that area were blocked off with government signs. Danger, unstable terrain, toxic air conditions, no public entry. Yeah, that's what they want you to believe. I borrowed my roommate's car and left at 1:45 a.m. The air got colder as I drove up into the hills. No joke, it dropped 15 degrees once I hit the turnoff road. My GPS started stuttering. Siri kept repeating, "Turn around." Recalculating. Turn around. Recalculating. The asphalt slowly turned into gravel, then into ash-covered dirt. The fire had gutted everything. Trees, power lines, even the guardrails on the side of the cliffs. I passed a melted Tesla that had fused with the rock wall beside it. No sign of the driver, just the twisted frame, like a grave marker for someone erased in an instant. I parked near a dried-out creek bed. According to the coordinates, I had to walk 0.7 miles north into the ridge. There were no animal sounds, no wind, not even a breeze, just silence. Pure, dead silence. I followed the path by flashlight. My boots crunched against layers of charred leaves and bones. Yes, bones. I told myself they were deer bones. I told myself they weren't human teeth in the ash. But when I stepped on a scorched Hello Kitty sandal, melted and fused to what looked like a child's leg bone, I couldn't lie to myself anymore. I reached the location at exactly 3:12 a.m. A perfectly round patch of dirt, darker than the rest of the ground, like something blackened it deeper. In the center was a shovel, brand new, wrapped in plastic. There was a laminated note zip-tied to it. "It's time to dig. You brought this on yourself. Don't stop until you smell it." I don't know why I obeyed. Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was the thing watching from the trees. Yeah, I saw it. Just barely. Right at the edge of my flashlight's reach. Tall, still, blurred, like bad compression. I started digging. About 3 feet down, the smell hit me. It wasn't rot. Not exactly. It was like sulfur and burnt plastic and the coppery sting of blood on metal. I gagged, tears stinging my eyes, and kept digging. Another foot down, the soil changed color, turned black and wet. My shovel hit something soft. I dropped to my knees, hands trembling, and started pulling away the dirt. First came the fingers. They weren't decomposed. They were mummified, burnt and preserved at the same time. Skin blackened, nails cracked, but not decayed. One hand, then two, then the face. It was me, burned, melted, mouth wide open, jaw split and dangling like someone tried to force a scream out of a dead throat. The eyes were missing, sockets packed with ash. A chunk of scalp was torn off, and in its place, a QR code had been branded into the skull with a soldering iron. I fell backward, screamed so hard, I ripped my throat raw. The thing in the trees took a step forward, and that's when I saw the other graves. Dozens, hundreds, shallow dips in the landscape, just faint enough to miss unless you knew where to look. Each one marked with a red flag, fluttering even though the wind had long since died. Each one a burial site. Each one someone who had watched the stream. I sprinted back to the car. I don't remember running. My legs were numb. My fingers were cut and bloody. I dropped the shovel somewhere around the creek and didn't look back. But when I got to the driver's seat, there was someone sitting in the passenger side, burned, charred, half their jaw missing, one melted eye looking at me, the other socket filled with USB cords. Yeah, actual cords, plugged into their skin. Their lips moved like rubber melting in a microwave. They said, "You saw your death, so now you'll live it." Then they disappeared, just gone. I drove home like a man possessed, ran red lights, blew past patrol cars, didn't care. By the time I made it back to my apartment, the inside of my windshield was covered in handprints. From the inside, black, smeared, oily handprints. They're still there. No cleaner removes them. I tried going back to normal. I tried, but the files kept coming. Now they weren't just videos. They were instructions, lists, orders, like someone was guiding me, turning me into something else. One file was titled, "Witness Protocol Initiated, Stage 2, Conversion." Inside was a PDF with my daily schedule, every location I'd been to in the last 2 weeks, every person I talked to, including ones I'd forgotten. There were names on the list that I didn't even recognize. I Googled them, all missing persons, all from the greater Los Angeles area. Each one had vanished within 48 hours of someone clicking the stream link. Then came the call. At exactly 3:13 a.m. again, my phone rang. No caller ID. I answered. All I heard was fire, crackling, roaring, screams deep in the background, like a stadium full of people being burned alive. Then the voice. "There is no more stream. You are the broadcast now. Let them see." My phone camera turned on by itself. It filmed me. Even when I powered it off, it stayed on. It posted the footage somewhere. I don't know where. All I know is strangers started watching me. People began messaging me on Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn. Messages like, "Saw you last night. The way your eyes moved. Perfect suffering. When is your next meltdown?" That panic attack felt so authentic. "I showed your breakdown to my whole dorm. One girl cried, 'We loved it.' They thought it was content. They thought my pain was a performance. But they didn't realize what they were watching wasn't me. It was them, the burned, using my body like a reality show puppet. I'm not the viewer anymore. I'm the episode. And the more people who watch, the longer it keeps me alive. I don't sleep. I don't eat. I haven't seen my reflection in 3 days. Every mirror just shows ash now. Piles of it. Moving. Whispering my name. And when I blink, I see the figure again. Closer every time. No longer blurred. It has my face. I keep trying to end it. Pills. Blades. Even fire. But every time I try, the stream restarts. The camera resets. And I wake up in the chair again, strapped down, screaming silently, the flames dancing around me, while thousands of people type laughing emojis into a chat I can't escape. You ever wonder what the cost of watching is? You thought it was just trauma, a few nightmares, maybe a paranoia spike. Number. The cost is your identity. Your soul gets broadcasted, and someone else, something else, wears your body like a second skin while you rot beneath the signal. The next time you scroll past a weird link in the comments. The next time you think it's just a joke, just an ARG, just a YouTube horror story gone too far. Ask yourself, is this content or is this bait? And if it knows your name, if it speaks in ash, if you hear your phone whisper at 3:13 a.m., run, because once the fire starts, It never stops burning. There are things you see on the internet that don't belong to any category. They're not files. They're not games. They're not even content. They're doorways. You don't realize that until you click. And by then, it's already halfway inside you. It was 2 nights after I tried burning my eyes out with a scented candle. You read that right, I snapped. I thought if I couldn't see anymore, maybe I'd stop being the product. I woke up hours later on my bathroom floor. My face was soaked in wax and blood, but somehow my vision was perfectly intact. Except now, when I looked in the mirror, the reflection was delayed. Like a live stream with bad latency, my mouth would move, and 2 seconds later, my reflection would follow, smiling when I wasn't. But the worst part, that reflection winked at me. I stopped looking at mirrors, covered them all with foil. Every reflective surface, gone. Didn't matter, because the reflection started showing up anyway. In phone screens, microwave doors, even in my coffee when it was still. And every time I saw it, the version of me on the other side looked more burnt, like something was slowly replacing me, char by char, layer by layer. Then came the live stream, not mine, someone else's. It started as a pop-up, just appeared in the top right corner of my phone while I was trying to watch a bacon reel on Instagram. I didn't tap it. I didn't open it. It opened itself. Live, sleep stream, from Minneapolis, watcher, access level, embedded soul. I stared at that phrase for a long time. Embedded soul. It was me, wasn't it? The screen switched to a live stream. Grainy, CCTV style footage. A girl, maybe 17, was sleeping in her bedroom, earbuds in, laptop on her stomach, twitching in her sleep, whispering. The chat on the side was full. Thousands of people watching her sleep, commenting. She's dreaming of him. Ash in her lungs already. Do you see the fire under her bed? Is that the same guy from the LA stream? That's when I saw it. Me, standing in the corner of her room, burned, face peeling off like film from an overdeveloped Polaroid, eyes black, hands twitching like a marionette, just watching her. I slammed the phone on the table. It didn't crack. I turned it off, unplugged the router, pulled the SIM, took the battery out. The screen stayed on. The stream followed me. It started showing up on other devices. The local Starbucks screen showed it while I was ordering a drink. The digital billboard on the 101 showed a still frame from the live stream. My face, distorted and melting, eyes bleeding down my cheeks, while the words scrolled beneath it. Have you seen this soul? Share the broadcast. Keep the fire alive. A mom with her kid standing behind me laughed. Ha, look at that. Some viral TikTok horror prank. That guy looks just like you. I didn't respond, because the stream was real, and I was no longer the main character. I was the virus. That night, I got an envelope under my door. No return address, no stamp, just a black envelope, sealed with what looked like fingernail clippings melted into wax. Inside was a Polaroid of the girl from the live stream, but she wasn't asleep anymore. She was awake, mouth stretched open, jaw snapped in half, tongue missing, eyes fully cooked in their sockets. And on the back of the photo, it said, "You did this. You're the signal now. Sudmod unit number 4. Broadcast loop. Infected view. Count 88,904 and climbing." I didn't sleep that night. The whispers came again. Not in my ears, in my blood. I could feel them crawling inside my veins, like insects chewing at the walls of my arteries. The heat started in my chest, then spread to my limbs, until every breath tasted like campfire smoke. and plastic. I opened my fridge to splash water on my face, and the fridge was full of teeth. My teeth. All of them. Each one labeled with a post-it note. Smiled on camera. 2:15 a.m. Burn zone, .la. Spoke to the girl. 3:13 a.m. Shared signal. Laughed during suffering cycle number 4. I touched my mouth. Still had teeth, but the ones in the fridge were also mine. Like something was duplicating me, piece by piece, digitally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I got an email that same morning from myself. The sender was me. Same email, same recovery phone. Subject line, your signal schedule has updated. Inside was a list of locations, public places, crowded places, Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, downtown, Disney, Anaheim, Santa Monica Pier, outside the Universal Studios horror maze, 3:13 a.m. The email ended with, "Thank you for agreeing to be the infection. Your viewership sacrifice is appreciated. Burn brighter, suffer louder, multiply, soot root, internal / burn host, beta." That day, I couldn't move. Every step felt like I was dragging someone else's limbs. I saw people on the street looking at me differently, like they knew, like they could see it bubbling under my skin. One guy on the subway took a photo of me. His camera caught the truth. I only know this because he screamed and threw his phone into the tracks. The scream he made wasn't human. It was like all the lungs of a funeral home crying at once. That night, I hacked into the admin terminal I found buried in one of the QR codes. I followed a trail of dead Tor sites until I reached something called sutnet/viewer core labyrinth. It wasn't HTML. It wasn't even code. It looked like meat. Moving, wet code, scrolling, pulsing. At the center of the labyrinth was a live directory, burnhost.pure. I clicked it. It opened a window of me, sitting there, right now, looking at you. Yeah, you, watching this. Because you didn't scroll away. You didn't close the tab. You didn't stop reading. That was your first mistake. Your eyepiece already in the loop. Welcome to the embedded viewer class. You'll know it's begun when you hear whispering from your Wi-Fi router. Your Google search bar auto-corrects every word to ashes. You look in your microwave reflection and you're smiling, even when you're crying. Your phone begins vibrating exactly at 3:13 a.m., even if it's on airplane mode. A photo appears in your gallery. One of you, sleeping, taken from inches away. And the final stage? When people stop recognizing you. When your family starts calling you by a different name. When your old Instagram selfies show a completely different person. When the live stream switches to your bedroom and you realize you were always the broadcast. They just waited for you to watch long enough to make it real. You still think this is a story. Number. It's a feed, and you're part of it now. Don't refresh. Don't sleep. Don't check the reflection behind you. And you're in it. They say the scariest part of death is the moment you realize you're already inside it, long before your body catches on. I used to think that was metaphorical. It's not. I've been dead for weeks. I just haven't stopped broadcasting. Let me make this as clear as I can for you. If you've made it this far, if you've read every part of this story, you've already been marked. It doesn't matter if you believe it. It doesn't matter if you're reading from your bedroom, a classroom, a bus, or a Starbucks in Tokyo. You let it in, and now it sees you, clearly, like glass, like an open wound pulsing on a live feed. This part of the story, this isn't the finale, it's the recording, and you're inside it. Let me tell you what happened after I tried going off the grid, after I dumped my devices into the LA River, after I burned every hard drive and SIM and battery I owned, after I paid a hacker in Monero to scrub my name from every traceable database. None of it mattered, because they don't need hardware. They don't need software. They're in the bandwidth now. I'm not talking internet anymore. I'm talking the space between your eyes when you blink. The part of your brain that zones out when you're scrolling shorts at 3 a.m. and forget your own name for 8 seconds. That's them. They live in the disconnect. I woke up 3 days ago in a motel off Highway 395. I don't remember checking in. I don't remember driving there. I only remember the note taped to the ceiling above my bed, written in a charcoal smudged scrawl. You brought enough viewers. Final stream starts tonight. 3:13 a.m. Location, you. And then the camera turned on. I didn't bring it. There was no camera in the room, but somehow I could feel it. Behind my eyes, in my chest, like a tumor humming on the frequency of screams. The air warped, not visually, not like science fiction. I mean emotionally. It felt like the entire motel room was dreading something, and I was just the meat puppet tied to the center of it. I heard footsteps in the hallway, scraping, like someone dragging something heavy, wet. Then came the sound. Not knocking, not banging. A low, organic tap, like a finger bone wrapped in muscle, tapping flesh on wood. Rhythmic, hungry. I checked the peephole. There was no one there, but the door was breathing. The paint on the wood pulsed with each beat. Inhale, exhale, like it was waiting for me to open it so it could exhale something into me. And taped to the handle was a phone. Not a burner, not my own. Just a white iPhone with no case, screen already recording. The moment I picked it up, the screen lit up with a red bar across the top. Live now, viewers. 2,038,771 people. 2 million. Watching me. Not a stream of me. Not a reflection. Me. Live. No camera facing me. No lens. Just reality itself being repurposed as content. The door unlocked by itself. I didn't open it. The room just changed. The walls melted out of existence. The floor turned to blackened wood covered in scorch marks and fingernail trails that had dug inward, like something tried to claw its way into the fire instead of out of it. And in front of me, about 10 feet away, was a man, or what used to be a man. No skin, no lips, no eyelids, mouth sewn shut with copper wire, teeth broken into jagged spears. Every bone in his body looked like it had been twisted to fit a smaller frame, bent, compressed, like a contortionist shoved into a shoebox and then rebuilt wrong. And in his hands, a remote, one button, labeled End Transmission. He looked at me like I was the audience, like it was my choice now, like I could make it stop. I reached out. I pressed it. Nothing ended. The screen blinked, and new text appeared. Transmission failed. Viewer count exceeds safe limit. You are no longer the broadcaster. You are now the stream. And I felt it happen. My skin went numb. My vision split into 100 angles, like I was seeing myself from every possible security camera in the world, all at once. Airports, bathrooms, elevators, cell phones, Ring doorbells, and in every feed, there I was, burned, melting, smiling, and pointing at the lens. One girl was watching from her laptop in a college dorm. She was eating popcorn. She laughed, said, "This horror series is wild," and posted a clip of me on TikTok with the caption, The guy from the LA Burn livestream showed up in my For You page. It got 3.8 million likes. The next day, her entire dorm floor was found dead. No wounds, no trauma, just ash, piled neatly on every bed. Phones still recording, all still streaming. That's what this is now. Not a curse, not a glitch. It's a platform, a living, growing organism of pain and exposure. A parasite that feeds off eyes and attention and fear. And the more people who see it, the brighter it burns. Every like, every share, every WTF is this real? Comment, fuel. And guess what? You're doing it right now. You didn't think reading this was safe, did you? You didn't think text was immune. Oh no, the signal doesn't care about format. It just needs a door. And your attention was the key. Now your phone knows. Your IP's confirmed. Your camera is warming up in the background. Don't bother closing the app. Don't bother deleting your history. This isn't software. This is your soul's live footage. You're a window now. A host. A broadcast point. Your nightmares? A new playlist. Your panic attacks. Ad breaks. Your body. A demo reel for suffering. You want to make it stop. Here's what you can do. Cover every mirror. They are reverse broadcast receivers. Never sleep at 3:13 a.m. That's when your brain becomes writable. Disable every lens in your home, but never throw them out. It feeds off discarded eyes. Avoid hospitals. They monitor burned broadcasts under the name Soot Syndrome. Whatever you do, never, ever say the stream's name out loud. That gives it permission to film inside your memory. And most importantly, don't share this, because the second you repost this, you're not just a viewer, you're next. The final words on my phone were simple. Congratulations, your name here. Your face is now trending. Viewer count, 7,942,177. Final broadcast begins now.